Illawarra! Illawarra! And people don't believe in Wollongong, doubt us all year. You better start believing because we'll be back next year.
Ball driving. 7 seconds left. He pulls the trigger. Big shot taker. Big shot maker. Tyler Harvey enormous.
Hells yes, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Hawks Hangout. We're back better than ever, and a big massive shout out to our amazing sponsors over at Principal Brewing and Enable You To. If you haven't already seen, unfortunately, we have all parted ways with the basketball fix. A big massive shout out to those boys. Without them, we would not have the platform that we have today. So thank you to the Josh and team over there, but also thank you to Nathan, to Maddie, and then all of the boys over at Principal Brewing for buying all of our new gear for us, providing the StreamYard subscription for us to be able to produce all of our amazing Hawks content that we're coming to you with. But Corey, we're back, mate.
We're back, baby.
Huge season on our hands, huge off season so far. But we'll get into our main topic of today, our NBL1 Hawks. Can they win it all?
Before we get started, how good was that new intro?
Hey,
mate, big ups to my boy Sammy. That was an epic. I'm pumped just on that starter. What an intro. So good. Hopefully the season's as good as that intro. But yeah, NBL1, pumped. We've got a big time preliminary final coming up next Saturday at the Snake Pit. It is going to be huge. It's going to be rocking. It was rocking in that first final against the Comets. We absolutely taught them a basketball lesson. At one stage, we were up 50. At halftime, it was 66-24. It was like men playing against boys, and it was great to be so close to the action and see Kobe giving it to Anthony Mundine and like getting in his ear and having an absolute blinder. Was the deserved MVP. It was great for him to win so well. Toddy still played well, but didn't have to like carry the scoring load. So it was super exciting to see that. And we know now that they're going to be playing the COE in that prelim final. I'm not the sort of person who gets too confident, but I'm going to say I'm pretty confident we've got this one. Yeah. I think that they really should put pressure on these young fellas. It's going to be a pretty intimidating atmosphere. It'll be interesting to see how they handle it. Sometimes young people, they have a bit like they play free and they have no fear, but it's going to be a pretty intimidating environment. The Hawks are going to be like pumped for it. And if they can get the chocolates, we've got a trip to the Riff.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's one of those things, Corey, where this final is based on a neutral ground. I wish it was a home court advantage because it would have been another packed house and another sellout. On that, big massive shout out to Nathan Loveday and Ben Begoli over at Basketball Illawarra. Those boys have been absolutely unreal this season. They've been plugging it on their socials. The corporate boxes have been a sellout. The place has been an absolute rocked, like it's a stadium almost. It almost beats the grand final environment at the WEC. Yeah. I know it's small and you're on top of each other, but hey, that COA team, there's something dangerous to be coming up against, but I just don't feel like they have that experience and the caliber of players and the experience that we do. We've got 2 NBL champions, 3 NBL champions on our team. We've got Matty Mims, we've got Lockie Dent, we've got Matty Flynn coaching. We have the experience, we have the team, we have the depth, and that was shown the other week there against the Comets. Comets could have easily come out and blown us away and kept it close if they really wanted to, like they did last night. But unfortunately, it was just one of those games where it got absolutely out of control from our end. Yeah. And we came away with it.
The only thing I was concerned about in the Comets game was like their maybe advantage in the height-wise, but smart move from Coach Flynn putting our man Matty Mims, Slim Shady on big Obi, and he frustrated the hell out of him. It was like a weird matchup, but they obviously saw something in the scouting that Obi, if he's going to be handling the ball, he can handle the ball, but he's not a great ball handler. He can dribble it up, but under pressure, it just led to so many turnovers, led to us running the floor, getting some easy buckets. And I know we are a team that lives and dies by the three, but man, they have been hitting it at a top rate. Like Matty Mims is shooting like 44% or something from the three.
Yeah.
And like, Toddy's shooting at a high rate. Kobe can shoot it like he can shoot it. We just got so many options. Even our bigs like Kyle can knock it down and Ballinger can hit it from the three. So we're going to live and die by the three. Really, in a world where I think how are we going to lose this game to COE is going to be, we're going to have to be stinking it up from the three to lose. But I feel like they're going to have to guard that perimeter really heavily. So if that happens, it's going to probably open up for the drives, and we've got guys who can take it to the hole as well. So I'm pretty excited. But I want to ask you, like, I'm pretty confident we can get the job done and get to the grand final. But the other prelim is the Sharks versus the Gunners. I've got my opinion, but I want to ask for yours first. Who do you think is going to get the chocolates there, and who are we going to be meeting in the GF?
It was really interesting to see them not play Kawat Noi last night. I know he was available. He did not play the game at all. I know Bawali Bales was available to play for Comets, and he did not play. That was something that came out earlier in the day, and I was like, okay, here we go. He's available to play. He should be able to play. He might be playing. And then they rested him, if that's what they have done, to hopefully get through to the finals, giving him an extra week to recover. Same as Kawat Noi. Kawat Noi did not play, whether that was an injury or an intentional choice by Sean Rogers from the Sharks, who absolutely knows.
Or could it be they're like putting Q in the rack, they're focusing on the NBL? Maybe the Kings have said something. We don't want him to play. We want him to focus on preparing for the Blitz and preparing for the upcoming season. Who knows? Like, I don't know. I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
Bales may also be looking to get an NBL contract as well. I'm definitely quite happily having back at the Hawks. I really like him. I know he's a bit of a polarizing character, I guess, but I'm a big fan. And I know there's like a lot of kids and stuff out there. He's a cool sort of a guy. He works really hard. He's fit. I remember he's the first time he would win all the fitness challenges and stuff. He would be smashing that beep test. I'd take him back, and he's just that guy who, when he comes on in small minutes, he just believes in himself. He's got confidence. He's not scared. And so I like that sort of characteristic in a player who's not going to get many minutes, because when they come on, you want them not to be like hesitant. A bit like Jonah Flynn when he comes on in the NBL1. That kid is not scared. He gets the ball. He's shooting it. Yeah. I love it. Well, why not? You shoot when you play in the lower levels. Why wouldn't you shoot when you play in the higher levels? Just back yourself. You know you can do it. So I really like that about him. So I wonder if it's that they're thinking about something down the track, or whether he's going to come back and play in that game. So who's your tip?
While my head tells me the logical answer is Canberra, and it'll be a Hawks Canberra in Penrith, and hopefully we come away with the win. I really just cannot see anyone beating Sutherland this year. I actually really cannot see anyone beating Sutherland. They pulled off the absolute upset by far this season by beating Bankstown Bruins and knocking them off.
Also beat us at home.
Beat us at home. And it was absolutely ridiculous. I think they are the absolute team to beat. The system that they have got up there is ridiculous. Jamison, Spurgeon, Kawat Noi, everyone that's up there, they are playing at an absolutely elite level. That is my pick. Corey, you're probably going to be on the opposite. Tell me, mate.
I actually am. Yeah. I've feared the Gunners the whole season. I just think that they're a great team. They got big, fit bodies. They got some guys who I think could probably get a chance in the NBL. I wouldn't mind seeing them get a chance. There's a couple of players there who I fancy could have a decent impact in the NBL. And I'd be interested to see if maybe one of them gets a chance at the Hawks with that sort of 11th sort of spot. I just really like the Gunners. I think the guy who I'm thinking of is Will Mayfield.
Yeah, Mayfield. Yeah,
Will Mayfield. He's a weapon. Good size, strong, can do a lot of things. I just really like him. And the other guy, that big guy Morrison, I think they've got. He's a really strong player as well. They're well coached as well. So I'm going to go the Gunners. I think it's going to be a Canberra Hawks GF. I don't know. Sharks, great team. Noi, great player. But I wonder if he can say, I want to, rather than just all about me, if he can do what it takes and do what's best for the team and either play or make sure he does the right things rather than jacking up too many shots. I'm not too sure. I'm just going to go with what I think is like the best team And I'm thinking the Gunners are going to be the best team on that night.
Yeah, and it's worth noting Will Mayfield as well. Will Mayfield, Todd Blanchfield, 2 top contenders for MVP this season. Hunter Goodrich was in there. Kawatnoy was in there. Jason Kadee was in there as well. They were the 5 nominations. Obviously, Jason Kadee knocked out first round of the playoffs. Hunter Goodrich knocked out yesterday, got absolutely shut down by COE. Kawatnoy did not play yesterday's game. Do not know if that rules him ineligible for the award. I'm not too sure what the whole ruling was. I know that the awards were 50% of games rather than 40% for the actual playoffs. But yeah, Will Mayfield, Todd Blanchfield, they're my absolute picks for it.
If it's not Toddy,
if it's not Toddy,
it's going to be a conspiracy across the league that apparently people who have Hawks on their name can't win any MVP trophy. Like the Hickey debacle, then now this would be even a bigger. Like, come on. Like, he's been outstanding. I picked it up, and usually I put the kiss of death on someone. I picked it from the start of the season when he signed. He would dominate. I knew he dominated other NBL1 conferences that were stronger at the time than what NBL East was. But NBL East now, I feel, is like the strongest conference.
Absolutely.
It's just flying at the moment, and he's dominated that again. Just like, there shouldn't even be a question. Like, with all due respect to the other nominees, come on. There should have been one nominee. Toddy, just get it done with. Announce it now.
Yeah.
He's the MVP. It's that simple.
It is that simple, but it also potentially could light an absolute fire underneath the Hawks if they get shafted from Youth Player of the Year, Coach of the Year, and then also the MVP of the league as well. It'll light an absolute fire. But Corey, speaking of lighting absolute fires, the Hawks have gone out and signed arguably the biggest name in Hawks history. Now, it's a return of the fan segment, get up or get out. I know we've got absolutely polar opinions on this topic. I'm going to hand it over to you.
Okay.
You floors it all.
Okay. Well, we all heard the news on Friday afternoon, late Friday afternoon, that JaVale McGee has signed with the Hawks for 1 year. Super exciting. A lot of people who know the NBA know JaVale McGee's had a long career in the NBA, I believe 16 years, won 3 championships, 2 with the Golden State Warriors, 1 with the Lakers. He's been a journeyman and played for lots of teams across the NBA. He's been able to like carve a career out in the NBA, and that's not easy to do. At times, people have like made a little bit of a laughing stock of him with the Shaq and the Fool sort of a thing, with these like silly things he might have done on the court. But this is a huge signing. When I first saw it, I was a bit like, oh. But then when I read into it a little bit and saw how well he's playing in Puerto Rico, which is a league that a lot of NBL guys go to, and he's doing quite well and competing a lot of those against those big guys who are over there in that competition as well. And he's getting some decent numbers. Like, you can talk about those numbers in a minute, but I was a little bit like, I'm not too sure about this one. Why? What's the motivation for him to come to the NBL? Like, I'm assuming there's obviously like the Tatum connection and something there, but like, it's exciting. We've never had a genuine big unit sign for us, but I know you were going crazy. I was a little bit more like chilled on it than you. But the thing for me is that we won a championship last year. So like, I'm a bit, if it was like we hadn't won one, I'd be like, oh, I don't know, too sure about this, but I'm excited to see. It's going to be theatre either way. If he comes with the right attitude, it could be spectacular. But you know that I love to give nicknames.
Oh, here we go.
You know I love to give nicknames.
It's all coming back.
It's all coming back. So you know what? I've thought long and hard about this one, and I'm going to JaVale McGee. All right, he's a Mac. I'm going to call him Big Mac. All right, Big Mac. Now, like, you know the Big Mac little phrase, 2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on that sesame seed bun. He's a little bit different, though. He's 3 NBA rings, special tats, lob dunks, blocks, all in a 7-foot frame. So absolutely sensational. He's going to be Big Mac for this season. Big Mac McGee. I'm hoping it's going to have some massive highlights. If we can get a PG who can throw those lobs, we'll be the next lob city. What do you reckon?
The dynamic duo of Will Hickey, Dan Greeder, JaVale McGee on the floor. You have someone like a Todd Blanchfield in there at the 4, and potentially another import guard or whatever it is. I know I called them the dog squad last year. This is going to be the hound squad. Like, it is going to be absolute hound city. There'll be lobs thrown everywhere. There'll be dunks. There'll be flashy passes. It's going to be absolute theater. My 00 jersey is already ordered.
00.
00. I'm calling it now. Warwick Giddy, the only player in Hawks history. Shout out to Joel Armstrong for that info.
That.
Warwick Giddy, the only player in Hawks history to wear the 00.
You know,
Darius Day 0.
Darius Day 0. You know what? I can't believe we didn't think of the nickname for him. 0 days off.
Yeah, 0 days off.
0 days off. I was thinking that. I'm like, why do we think of that? We got Days of Thunder, great nickname, but I thought 0 days off. What a legend. But mate, I'm going to have a little question for you.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about this. Before the season starts, what do you think is going to be higher? Dunks from McGee or blocks? He's going to be a defensive menace. 7 foot, he's athletic and smack some balls into the stands. What do you think he's going to have more of, dunks or blocks?
Considering at the moment he's averaging 17 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, as well as 2 steals and about 1.6, 1.7 blocks per game at 60% shooting. He's 23% from the 3-point line.
He's taking threes. What the hell?
It's 23% from the 3-point line, and he's 75% from free throw shooting.
Well, that shocks me because I've seen some highlights at the line, and I thought he would be like 50% at greatest over career. But if he's shooting 75 now, I'm
75%. Yeah, 75% so far in this Puerto Rican league, which is going to be really impressive to see how that translates across. I feel like he's going to be a very similar player to what we saw Tarko fall. However, because he's that quite a bit shorter, he's not the 7'7", he's
more
a 7 foot. He's athletic, as Olgun said on the NBL marketplace. Yes, his NBA career is probably long behind him now. He's made his name there, all the rest of it. He's a genuine superstar, and I can just see him taking absolute flight against someone like a Bryce Cotton, a Montrezl Harrell. Joe Lawala-Chul is going to be the matchup of the year against these two, against Perth. We've got them quite a few games early on. So that matchup is going to be absolutely huge to watch. And I can just see him launching some stuff into the absolute stands. I'm going to go with blocks.
Ooh.
Just from a pure basketball perspective, I reckon it'll be blocks.
Yeah, and also I think the NBL isn't really known for getting lots of dunks. Like the defense is like, it's not so open. Like you can clog the lane, make it quite hard to get dunks. So yeah, you're probably about right. But what do you reckon we move on now? Like so this JaVale McGee, but let's look at, there's a rumor this week that my favorite Australian player, who I thought would be 0 chance of even being a hope in hell of him playing for us, Jack McVeigh, there's talk that they've had chats with a great man about coming to the Hawks. Now, obviously, he is a passionate Tassie Jack jumper. I still believe he's there. Potentially, he could be under contract there.
Definitely is.
He was a champion there. He's always said how much he enjoyed his time there. But a thing that happened recently, and tragically, Sean McDonald did his ACL playing for the Boomers recently. And from all reports, Sean McDonald was going to be the starting point guard for the Tasmanian Jack Jumpers, and they're going to give him the keys and let him run it. And he's a great player. I'm a big fan of Sean McDonald. I think he's done some great things, and I think he's only going to get better. But unfortunately, he's gone down. But they had and so people were thinking, oh, well, I'll just get Jack McVeigh. But is it the fit? If you lose a guy who you have in mind to play starting point guard and you have an import spot up your sleeve, you think that they would look to replace McDonald with an import point guard? Because if you go into the season like with a backup PG, it's a league that is dominated by point guards, and it's a guards league. If you don't have a genuine starting point guard, you're going to be left behind in this league. So that, I think, slightly opens the door for my boy Jack McVeigh. Now, I don't do this ever. No. I'm not the sort of person who's going to like beg someone to come to our team. If you don't want to come to our team, I feel like it's your loss. But I'm doing it for the first time, Jack. Now, Jack, I'm going to tell you why you should come to the Hawks. You want to be coached by the GOAT, Tatum. Mate, you're going to be NBA eyes on you every single game because of Tatum, because of JaVale McGee. There's going to be people watching you around the world. All right, you get to move from Tassie, a beautiful place, freezing cold day, to the beautiful beaches of the Illawarra. Mate, why wouldn't you want to do that? Also, I know that you really love your mindset stuff and your positive mindset. I'm a big fan. That's why I followed you on Instagram and so forth and all the social media platforms. Mate, me and you can do a potty together on positive mindsets. Let's lock it in when you get here. And mate, you are, and I don't often buy jerseys of players who don't even play for like my team, but I got a Boomers McVeigh jersey because that's how much I rate you. You're a top man, my favorite Boomer. Come on, join the Hawks, Jackie McVeigh. We would love you here. The fans would love you. The community would love you. You'd love the community. It'd be spectacular.
Yeah, and it's really interesting to note that Sean McDonald's proposition that they all had. They were really preparing for life after Jack McVeigh in that team. They had put Sean McDonald in that point guard spot, basically have built this team around him. And unfortunately, he went down with that ACL injury during the Boomers squad, which obviously it's a massive call up to get called up to the Boomers. We had our own Will Hickey get called up, and a massive shout out to him because he limited minutes, but he had a starting role and he played it well and he had a great game. However, that Sean McDonald's, they were really starting to prepare for life without Jack McVeigh, and you really cannot place a point guard and a power forward in the same context as each other. You can, you can shift everyone down, but then it shifts a natural two guard as an import who hasn't played in the NBL before down to the point guard. It's not like it's a Trey Kell situation where he's played in two different teams before and he's joined a different team. It's someone who's had no NBL experience coming into a team for the first time, and you're shifting them all down out of their natural positions. You've got a 2 playing the 1, a 3 playing the 2. You have Jack McVeigh back playing, the 3-4. You probably have him at the 3. You have Bannon in there at the 4-5, and you've got Magnay in there at the 5 if he doesn't leave. So
it's not. It just doesn't seem
not
a great
ideal
fit.
at all.
And it's no cupcake. Like, you can't go in there in the season with who you was going to have as your backup point guard, who's like an Aussie coming and running your team from the start. To me, like, it just doesn't make sense. The fit's not right unless they make other little adjustments here and there. And I don't know why they would do that this close to the start of the season. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting. But the other player who we're looking at, which we heard, Olgun said that AK Gak, what's his nickname? You love his nickname.
I don't endorse guns whatsoever. I think they're absolutely horrific, but besides yours, but that's another story. But AK-47, it was absolute, that is best nickname by far in the NBL. He came in, he wore the 47 jersey when he played for the Hawks last. He knows the Hawks system. He knows the players that he used to play with.
Yeah.
He would fit straight back in. He fills that hole that we have been left in a 4-5 position. Obviously, Sam's out injured. We have Harry there as a natural, the nominated replacement player for Sam, so he'd be able to play games when Sam's not playing. But we still need another 4-5 person, as someone in there, as well as that in-point point guard position. Now, that in-point point guard, Corey, there has been quite a few names that have been floated out recently, and it's all over the place with who it could be and all the rest of it. But a few names that have been dropped: Victor Oladipo, Alfred Payton, Malcolm Brogdon, and John Wall.
Oh, well.
Now, I know John Wall, I know technically cannot sign with us because his Southeast Melbourne ownership and all the rest of it.
So you can cut him off. There's no way John Wall is playing for the Hawks when he's the owner of it. That will be like some pretty...
worse than Larry Kesselman.
Yeah.
Now, I would have said Isaiah Thomas, but there is massive talks with him potentially signing with Cairns and all the rest of it. So, yeah.
Really? I didn't hear that. Wow. So Isaiah Thomas would be huge.
Isaiah Thomas would be huge. However, I definitely think, and it's the one person who fits the criteria that I have heard, the messages that I've seen, everything that I've heard, the rumblings, everything, the one person that fits that criteria, replaces Trey Kell, Malcolm Brogdon, Corey. He's that stocky point guard. He's that perfect size. He's played the Olympics before. He's played with McGee. He's played in some high-level systems, has played with the Celtics, has that Celtics connection as well. It is that really good point guard that would easily be able to set some hard screens for other defenders, be able to get the ball into Harvey's hands. Harvey can play off ball. It works really, really well. So all signs potentially pointing to that as import point guard. Who knows if that's what happens? That's my pick, and that's who I'm sticking with at the moment.
It's all. I'd have to say it's all speculation. We're just,
absolutely all speculation.
We got
yeah.
like no idea. Don't get too excited if by saying this, but of from that list, I'm going to say for sure there's no hope. Oladipo, Elfrid Payton, I'm not too sure. John Wall's a definite no. But out of that list for me, Malcolm Brogdon would be my preferred. If we do it, I'll be like ridiculously excited. He's like a great player. His nickname would be so easy. He's the president. If you've ever heard him speak, his voice is exactly like Obama.
Oh yeah.
So he's an easy nickname straight away. But it'll be spectacular if we get him. But this is just all speculation. We've heard some whispers potentially that the other import spot might be another NBA vet. So Sammy's all gone hard and searched a bunch
deep dives on everything,
and a bunch of names. So this is not like that. This is guys coming. This is just what we thought maybe might happen. I'm like, you can see me smiling because I'm holding back the laughter. I'll be genuinely shocked if we get someone who is like a big name like that. I know we got JaVale McGee, but he's sort of like towards the end of his NBA career. I feel like Brogdon could still play in the NBA. There might be some teams still chasing him, but let's move on, eh?
Yeah. And our last segment for today, before we wrap everything up, and it's a bit of a heartfelt one, but as we're looking into our new season, obviously we've got to say goodbye to our old season, and that means saying goodbye to some players. Obviously, we did lose Trey Kell and Darius Days. They were absolutely massive in our championship. Obviously, we only had them for the 1 year, and in that 1 year, we got a championship. So we thank them for everything that they had done. But the biggest ones and the biggest losses to the club, Lockie Ulbrich, and fan favourite, you love him. We all love him. He goes 1, 2, 3 for Lee, baby.
That's it.
Big, massive shout out to those boys. Couldn't have gotten there without them. Lockie being, signed a 3-year deal with the club from 2023 was absolutely huge and bolstered his stock for the NBA massively. And Hai Young Lee, special restricted player, coming over from Korea, coming in and absolutely lighting it up no matter where he was on the floor. He could be 2 feet under the basket. He could be 40 feet out from the basket and would still score the ball from a high clip. He was absolutely huge. Corey?
Yeah. For me, Locke was a great youngster. I remember we saw him play at the Snake Pit when he was playing for his college, and everyone was sort of like, who's this kid? Like, we all thought he was like this American kid, and we're like, wow. And then people were researching him, like, oh, wow, he's from Adelaide. And the next second he was playing for the Hawks. So I was really excited. And he's been awesome, and so happy for him that he's got his chance to play in the NBA and for the Bulls, and we'll all be following him, and hopefully he does really well. But Lee was like, he's a real fan favorite. And I'll go as far as say, I know we've had some really great people play for our club. You'd have to be almost the nicest person who's ever played and put on a Hawks jersey. He's just so great with everyone. Like, you'd see people come from all the way from Korea to come watch him play for the Hawks, and he'd always have time for them at the end of the game to get photos and sign stuff. And he's always great with the kids. I know I've got a soft spot for him because he's always been great with my son Carter, giving him multiple pairs of his shoes, gave him his game-worn
championship jersey
in that Game 5, and that is going to be internal long-time memory for Carter and myself that we'll never forget. And those are the sort of moments you just can't take away. And even though sometimes people think, oh, it's just not much, it just doesn't happen all the time. So to give that away after just winning a championship, having a game-worn jersey from Game 5 and not even hesitating, he's a real special guy, and he's definitely going to be missed. And I'm not going to say I was sad when I saw he was leaving, but the one thing that in the little goodbye from the club was that there was a little hint that he'd potentially be back. So if that's the case, it gives us some hope that we'll see HJ Lee again. But if we don't, it was an absolute pleasure watching you play and an absolute pleasure to talk to you and see how you interact with people. You're a great role model, not just for kids, but for everyone. So thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of thank yous, once again, big, massive shout out and a thank you to our boys at Principal Brewing and Enable You Too. We could not be doing all of this without you. And a big, massive shout out to my man, Corey, and all of you guys back at home. If you haven't already, go check us out on Instagram at the Hawks Hangout and go follow our YouTube. You can find all of our previous videos and all of our upcoming videos as well on YouTube at the Hawks Hangout. That is at the Hawks Hangout on YouTube. Corey,
make sure you get to the Snake Pit next Saturday. It is going to be rocking. And one last, come on, Jackie.
Please, mate, bring it home.
Bring it. Let's go, Hawks.
Fly, you Hawks.
Fly high.
Fly high, baby.
Hawks hang out wild and free. So high, gotta believe. Tune in, feel the energy. Hawks hang out, it's you and me.